Good morning and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're feeling well this morning. If it was a struggle to get out of bed, a struggle to get your mat out, then well done, you've made it here. The hardest part is done. So I'm going to take you through a simple stretch this morning, some of my favourite yoga stretches and movements to wake up the body, wake up the mind and set you up for the day. So let's come through to the hands and the knees to begin. I'm going to come down into an extended child's pose. So take your knees as wide as your mat, your big toes come together, and don't come all the way to the ground just yet, but sit your hips back towards your heels and just have a little bit of a rock side to side with the hips there, using the hands to support you. Just easing into those hip joints, waking up some of the muscles there. And then slowly walk the hands forwards, really stretch out through the back. Keep your hips reaching towards your heels. Stretch out the arms and let your forehead come down to rest. If the ground feels like quite far away for your forehead to reach, you could grab a cushion and just pop a cushion under your forehead. Take your hands as wide as your mat and spread out your fingers. Really reach the fingertips away, stretching out along the back of the body. And just take a few deep breaths here to begin. And then lift your head slightly and walk your hands over to the left. So keeping this stretching out along the back of the body, but taking the hands over to the left. They can come off the mat if that feels good. Really reach with the right fingertips particularly. So you should feel quite a nice stretch through the right shoulder, through the rib cage on the right side and down into the lower back on the right side. Again, a couple of really deep breaths here. And then lifting the head, take the hands back through the centre and walk them all the way over to the right. Again, reaching away, particularly with the left fingertips, just bowing the head between the arms. The forehead doesn't have to come to the ground with this one. One more really full breath. And then coming back to the centre with the hands and lifting to tabletop position, bringing the hands under the shoulders with the fingers spread out wide and the knees right under the hips, a little bit of space between the knees. Moving into cat and cow, so breathe in, lift your head, lift your heart, arch your back. Breathe out, round your back and drop your head down. Breathing in, we lift the head, arching the back, lifting up through the tailbone. Breathing out, press your back towards the ceiling, push with your hands. Go a few more times at your own pace. Checking in with the whole body, noticing any particularly stiff muscles, joints, any achy bits. It might feel good to take a little bit of side to side movement here if you're quite familiar with cat-cow and quite comfortable with this kind of free movement in your practice. So just do what feels good for a couple more breaths. Nice. And then tucking the toes. So actually we'll bring the knees a little bit closer, feet a bit closer. Tuck your toes and come all the way up to stand on your knees. So you want to feel a stretch through the toes and into the soles of the feet. It might be enough to be all the way up here with the toes tucked, or you might find that you need to sit a little bit further back to feel that stretch. So stay with where it feels like a good stretch, but it's not too agonizing. We don't get any bonus points for suffering through yoga practices, so just go to where you feel the stretch. And then let's just loop the wrists around a few times. So big circles through the wrists in both directions. And a couple of big circles with the shoulders. So squeeze shoulders forwards, up, back and down, forwards, up, back and down. Nice. And then releasing the toes, come back to the hands, give the toes a good wiggle around. And then tucking the toes again, we're going to lift into downward facing dog. So just lift your knees and reach your hips towards the back of your mat like this. So stay low to the mat, but press the hips back. We're going to try lifting the hips up, straightening the legs a little bit more, and then bend the knees, drop the knees really low to the mat again. Hover the knees just above, sitting the bum back to the heels like this. And then lifting the hips up, keep the arms straight, and then sinking back down again. Last one, lifting all the way up. And this time moving into a little pedaling action through the feet. So stretching out those legs. I usually feel pretty tight in the mornings, so be patient. Relax your head between your arms. Let's take a breath in through the nose, sighing out through the mouth. Relaxing the jaw as you do that. One more breath like that, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Lovely. And then just walk your feet, little baby steps up to the center of your mat. Bringing the feet to about hip distance. And then take the weight out of your hands, just leaning into the feet. Soften the knees, let your belly rest on your thighs. So quite a generous bend in the knees. And let your arms and your head dangle down heavily. Gently shake the head left to right as if you're saying no. And then gently nod the head as if you're saying yes. Another one of those deep breaths in through the nose, sighing out through the mouth. Lovely. And then take the hands forwards again. We'll step back to downward dog from there. Nice. Stretching out through the arms, press the ground away with your hands. Pedal out through the feet. And we'll try sending the right leg up into three-legged dog. If that's not your favourite, just stay with down dog instead. If it feels good there, you could try bending the knee, dropping the foot over behind you. Push with both hands, keep those arms straight, lift up through the knee. Take a breath in. On your exhale, step the right foot to the outside of the right hand into a lizard pose. Give it a hand if it doesn't go all the way on its own, that's fine. And then we're going to drop the back knee down to the mat. So we've got the right foot on the outside of the right hand. And then lean into your left hand, press down through the right foot and reach the right arm up to the sky. Big open twist. See if you can sink down in the hips a little bit more like this. So rather than staying all the way back here, we're bending the front knee a bit more, dropping the hips towards the mat. And then we'll bring this hand back down. I'm going to step back to downward dog from there. Lift the hips high, relax through the head. Taking the left leg up now, three-legged dog. Again, this is optional. You can just stay with down dog if that feels better. If you like taking that variation of bending the knee, dropping the foot over, you can take that as well. Let's take a breath in. On the exhale, stepping the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Again, help it out if it doesn't go all the way there on its own. Drop the back knee down to the mat. Lift the left arm up, come into a nice open twist. Again, notice if the hips are sort of moving towards the back of the mat like this. See if you can bend that knee a bit more and sink the hips down. Take a breath in. Exhale, hands to the mat. Stepping back to downward dog again. I'm going to take that little movement a couple more times, going a little bit quicker now. So inhale to lift the right leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, big step round to the outside of the right hand. Nice, drop the knee to the mat. Inhale, lift the right arm up, big open twist. Exhale, bring the hand back down. Stepping back to downward facing dog and taking a breath there to reset. Inhale, send the left leg up. Exhale, step to the outside of the hand. Drop the knee. Inhale, left arm reaching up to the sky. Exhale, bringing the hand back down. Once more to each side, stepping back to downward dog for a breath. Inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, stepping to the outside of the hand. Drop the knee to the mat. Inhale, right arm lifting, opening, sink the hips down. Exhale, place the right hand back to the mat, stepping through downward facing dog. Take a breath there, relax through the jaw. Inhale, send the left leg up. Exhale, step to the outside of the hand. Drop the back knee. Inhale, left arm lifts, big open twist, sink the hips down. Exhale, place that hand down. Stepping back to downward dog, lift those hips up high, relax the head between the arms. Come back to your breath here. Let's take one in through the nose, sighing out through the mouth. Nice. And then lift right up onto the tips of the toes, come up as high as you can on the toes, and then slowly lowering the knees all the way down to the mat. And we'll come back into a child's pose. Take the knees a bit wider. Let the head come down to rest. Now just coming back up to a seated position from there. We're going to bring the knees a little closer. Either tucking the toes or keeping the feet flat, your choice. We're going to sit back up on the heels like this. Now loop the shoulders back and down, and then take your hands behind your back, interlace the fingers, and really try and squeeze your shoulder blades together. So you could imagine that there's a pencil just between the shoulder blades that you're squeezing with the shoulder blades and holding in place. Pause here and breathe. Opening across the chest and the front of the shoulders. I'm going to give you the option to try rabbit pose or a variation of rabbit pose. So I'm going to just show you, see how you find it. Some people love this one, some people don't, so it's totally fine if this one's not for you. So what we're going to try is keeping those shoulder blades squeezing together. We're bringing the belly down to the thighs, tuck your chin towards your chest, lift the knuckles up, bring the crown of your head to the mat, so the very top of your head to the mat, and then roll forwards a little bit, lifting up through the bum. Lifting the knuckles, squeeze shoulder blades together, big stretch along the back of the neck, as well as the shoulders and chest. If it doesn't suit you, leave the arms out and just come into any version of child's pose that feels good. Let's try 2 more breaths. And then gently release the arms. Bring the hands to the mat to support you. Untuck the toes. And just roll back, dropping the hips towards the heels. And then rolling all the way up to sit. Come up to sit, rest your hands on your thighs, let your shoulders relax. Close the eyes for a moment. Soften the skin across the forehead. And relax the jaw. Let's take one final deep breath in through the nose. Sighing out through the mouth. And then bringing the palms together in front of the heart to close. Thank you for joining me for this practice. I hope you're feeling energized and awake. Have a great rest of the day. If you found this video helpful, please remember to click the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love it if you'd consider subscribing and joining this little growing community of yogis. Thank you. Have a great day.